Hello, everybody. My name is Selma Najwa Fiansa from Institut Teknologi Bandung, and I'm going to be talking about what are the limitations for adapting supply chain to the digital landscape, a case study of an Indonesian publishing company. So, this is the overview of what I will be talking about. So, the first one is the background. So, these days, digitalization has significantly changed the traditional steps in a supply chain. And in this growing digital world, it is inevitable to digitize your company to compete with the growing digital industry. With smarter models and technologies such as blockchain, IoT, machine learning, and CRM, companies can have better strategies to improve their business process. And the implementation of the digital technology itself requires knowledge about the impacts and business benefits to the business. And despite the many potential benefits of digitizing the supply chain process, some companies may face some challenges in doing the transition. Some companies even consciously choose to not digitize their company. The problem of transitioning from a conventional to a digital supply chain have various and significant challenges, such as technological limitations, lack of infrastructure, resistance to change, and the need for significant investment in digital tools and employees' training. And this problem is still specifically occurring in developing countries such as Indonesia, as even though the government emphasizes the importance of digital transformation for the nation's economy, the information and communications technology, or ICT infrastructure, is still weak, and the use of digital media is uneven in the business sector. This can be one of the reasons why some Indonesian companies still have a hard time integrating digital technology into their business. Considering all this information, I decided to do a research on a local Indonesian publishing company to see their current supply chain. As for the problem is that transitioning from a conventional to a digital supply chain have various and significant challenges. And the subject of this research, which is PT XYZ, is a publishing company that still have not adopted a digital supply chain despite the growing technologies. So I feel like by finding out about the reasoning and limitations that the company face, it can provide an insight on strategies for successful digital adaptation for the company and for other businesses. For the research question is, how does the cultural and organizational context influence the adoption of digital supply chain practices within the Indonesian publishing company? With this research question, we can analyze the cultural context in Indonesia with how they use technology and also the organizational context of the company, specifically focusing on their employee values and practices regarding digital transformation to see how much the employees have knowledge about digital technologies. For the methodology, the general research approach is qualitative research by looking at the case study at PT XYZ and also doing an extensive literature review. To collect data, I conducted a semi-structured interview with two key persons of PT XYZ, which are the head of publishing and also the executive director. So these two are chosen by their position and also their time working with the company, as they both have been working for the company for over 25 years. So they have the most knowledge about the publishing process and also the business process overall. And I also use secondary source data from other journals, as it can provide a different perspective and I can compare it with my own findings. And the data collected will be analyzed by identifying different themes and patterns that occur. And the data from the literature review will be combined with the interview findings to make a more comprehensive understanding of the research topic. So for the discussion, so PETA XYZ is focused on publishing K-12 educational school textbooks, and they have been around for a long time, about 45 years. They have started publishing and printing school books since 1978. So with a long history of business, XYZ already have their own comfortable way of business process and values. And this graph here is their current supply chain. As you can see, this is usually the general supply chain in a publishing company. And so far, the company have not really implemented any technology in their supply chain. So they still use traditional ways, but the company does use a tool called warehouse management system to help keep track of stocks and production. This shows that the company use uh the help of a software. However, the company still uses it as a standalone application without really integrating any ERP or cloud-based system, which means that without a cloud-based system, the only ones who can see the data is only one sector or one division of the company, and the rest of the company can't really see the data. And this can create challenges as the data are not really transparent to the other sectors. And as the company still does things manually, the weakness that the company has is that they still have to do daily monitoring face to face by having meetings and discussing reports and data, which can be very inefficient and mostly time consuming. And from the answers of the interview, it is found that the main constraint for the company to adopt a digital supply chain system is because they don't have the required human resource to change the existing system to a new digital one. This is mainly also because most of the employees of the company have been in the company for a very long time as they are loyal. They are usually consisting of Gen X and millennials, and they don't really have the knowledge of digital technologies, and they still are more comfortable with doing things the traditional way. And based on the executive director, the human resource readiness is a very important factor that influences the decision making of the company to adapt the supply chain to the digital landscape. And looking from the employees and the human resource, the company currently don't really have that, and the employees are not ready for that change. And the tools needed are also another factor taken into consideration, as integrating and using digital technologies usually requires the company to set up new equipment, which usually also means they need to hire new experts and possibly creating a new team. And currently, the company don't really feel the need to digitize, as they think that the business process is still doable with the traditional method. And most of the production process is still done manually. And as the company has a long and loyal relationship with the suppliers and customers, there's not much need to do anything more than contacting them through WhatsApp or email. And all of these reasons can also relate to how the digital readiness in Indonesia is still low compared to other countries. So, based on study done by multiple people, there are numerous challenges that the companies in Indonesia face to digitize their business. The geographical position of Indonesia also contributes to its uneven distribution of information and technology. So, we can conclude all these reasonings to two, which are cultural limitations and organizational limitations. So for the cultural, we have keeping traditional principles. Uh, these are for the company employees, as they think that the traditional principles are still the way to go. And also the Indonesia's low digital readiness, as seen from different research. And for the organizational limitations, there's a lack of human resource, low digital maturity, and unclear management vision, as they don't have a fixed plan to digitize their supply chain yet. So, in conclusion, despite the apparent demand and shift in the market to do digital transformation, the publishing company is still doing their production process manually with little to no help from technology. And despite the limitation, it is very apparent that the need for digital transformation is clear. With various benefits, changing market, consumer expectations, and competitive pressure, the company should be more attentive to digitizing their supply chain. And if they continue to ignore these limitations, they will fail to embrace digital transformation and the benefit of gaining competitiveness, operational efficiency, and sustainability. And the recommendation would be to change the organizational stance on digital transformation and implement the warehouse management system better by implementing it on a cloud-based system. And they can try to do shifting little by little to digitize their supply chain by first training their employees to have better knowledge on their digital technology. So that's it for the presentation. Thank you so much for your attention.